is Rebecca Schissel-Marshall with Whole Body Upgrade, a podcast to help you get unstuck, feel better, and have more energy. Let's get started. Welcome to episode 84. I'd like to start as we always do, or almost always. I'd like to start by welcoming in the great directions. I welcome in the great direction of the east, the south, the west, and the north. I welcome in the direction that is above and below and the direction that is within. And I welcome in all the helping and compassionate spirits as they guide us and lead us in what is needed most in our lives. And I welcome in the helping, compassionate ancestors who have lived well and died well, those that are here to support us from a place of goodness. And I ask that the words that are spoken today be of benefit for all of those that hear them, and that wherever and whenever they may reach you, that they land in such a way that is compassionate, loving, and gentle. And I recognize that we are on the land of the Creek in the Cherokee, in what is now known as Athens, Georgia. So hello, my dear friends. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? And really just take a moment to check in. How are you today? How are you in this moment? I noticed for myself when I was really checking in that I'm feeling better than I have in a really long time. And I'm noticing how supportive stillness and rest have been for me. It's such a support lately. And I'm feeling like I'm just really feeling differently, and I'm noticing so much of this is shifting not only internally, that feeling state of how I feel, but also what's happening externally. It's like when the internal gets in alignment, the external falls along with it. The more I feel into this place of deep rest that I've been talking about, the more results that I see in my life. I see it, there's this internal sense, this feeling, but I also see the external, like I'm sleeping better. I am getting these amazing downloads, this clarity that's coming in. There's more creativity, there's more intuition. And I'm noticing also these synchronicities, these signs that keep showing up for me. And stuff just seems to flow more easily. And this is part of the reason why I'm building this new community, a place of rest, right, that I've been talking about. It's called A Place of Rest, a community for embodied stillness. And the whole idea, well, there's lots of ideas behind it. The whole idea is that in creating and cultivating this stillness, for a group of women, that we will be supporting each other, that I want to hold that community, that space for other people. I've been craving community for a long time, and we all need rest, especially now. So I offered a free rest date last week, and it was so soothing to my nervous system. Like when I've been talking about rest and stillness, I saw today how much this is going to involve the nervous system too. And this is what some of the work that we did in the last couple of rest opportunities I've offered. What I realized in leading that rest date, that rest experience or session last week, was that as I showed up, and of course, as the guides do, there were also energy clearings from my guides and work from the guides, this energy, it's called transfiguration, but it's this energy healing that's being given to the group that was there. And that's part of what's going to happen in this place to rest is not just we get together and take naps, which is hugely powerful all on its own, but it's also a place to rest the nervous system and for energetic clearing and work. So what I realized is that my whole body was so happy after that rest session. Many of the women that showed up found that it was the most rested they felt in a really long time. So I immediately, as I was on there, was like, I need to do this again. And so I'm going to offer it again Friday the 15th. So not the Friday that this comes out, but Friday the 15th as a kickoff to open the community of a place to rest is going to open. And these rest sessions are going to be part of this, a place to rest. So it's a place to rest, a community of embodied stillness. It's going to open on the 16th, right? There'll be rest in these stillness sessions. They'll either be recorded or live, as well as resources for you to support yourself in this rest, in this stillness. I'm going to include those. There will also be support for you in between the sessions to help you to remember to come back to this rest, to come back to stillness, to work on your energy, right? To do things. So all of this is, it will take place in a group container of some sort, like probably a Facebook group. And that's just an addition. I'm so excited because it's about community, it's about support, and it's about nourishing your soul. So this is going to be a monthly group that anyone can join at any time, right? That this is going to be available if you're like, oh my gosh, it's April 19th. Can I join? Yes. It's $54 for a month. So you'll be, you can join for a month and then decide it's not for you. You can join for 3 months and then decide you're finished. You can join for many years or however long it goes. As long as you're a part of the community, right? As long as that feels nourishing to you. And for those who are part of the community, I'm going to be offering one-on-one sessions with me at a lower price. So if you want to have a seed moment healing session or a coaching session, that will only be $108. So that is, you can buy, again, a single session of those or a couple of those. If you want to have those every couple of weeks, it's a much lower price than I usually offer. So I'm very excited for this. And I cannot wait for you to join the community. So come join the free rest session that I'm going to have on the 15th. And I'll put the link to that in the show notes to register for that. And then that way you'll have the opportunity to also be a part of the place for rest, the whole community as well. So you can tell I'm excited about this, right? I'm super excited. I could talk about it all day. I am just so thrilled with this opportunity. It feels so good in my own body. And as I said, the feedback I got from several students was that it was the most rested that they felt in a long time. So this is all really fun, which is what it's all about, right? That's part of stillness. What I want to talk about today, to actually talk about this episode, is the opposite of stillness. The restlessness, and how this can also be related, right, to loving ourselves. So that what we're doing, what I want to talk about really is the detoxification from the societal requirements of doing, right? Detoxifying from doing. Let me explain this a little bit more. What I see in so much of myself, and I've been in academia for 22 years, which is kind of like the epitome of doing, right? And I see this in my clients too, is that we often keep moving, we keep looking outside of ourselves to fix, and I'm going to put that in quotes, right? To fix ourselves or change something that we've been told is unacceptable. right? We need to work harder. We need to do more. That there is a part of ourselves that is actually, again, I'm putting in quotes, unlovable, or quote, too much, or in some way we've been conditioned to believe that it's not right. Again, in quotes, right? That society has told us that we need to keep doing in order to be loved, right? Either fixing that thing that we're not, we're never on time. We, can't keep a calendar. We're too loud. We, laugh inappropriately in the middle of things. We want to do things differently. We can't sit still, right? That society has told us that there are these things that we need to keep working on fixing ourselves, especially as women, right? Those of us who have been conditioned and brought up as women have been told that we need to keep doing, taking care of others, having the perfect house, all of those things in order to be loved. So this can look a lot of ways. I've kind of started talking about some of them. Sometimes it looks like that message that we need to look differently on the outside too. Like we need to lose weight, we need to be pretty, or it could be something on the inside, like being smart, or, we don't want to yell. We want to be kind to everyone, right? It could also, again, it could look on the outside like having the perfectly curated Better Homes and Gardens interior in your home, or the right amount of, amazingness without being arrogant. You can't be arrogant. So this constantly, right, this messaging that we need to do something different keeps us in that activity of doing, even if it's like this doing of self-care, right? Self-care can look like a doing if it's coming from a place of I am not acceptable. And so I have to gain that acceptance. I have to seek the approval, right? I have to seek belonging. I have to seek love from someone outside of ourselves. I just want you to kind of let that sink in. So often the doing is because we're actually not accepting who and what we are. And because of that, you might feel a great deal of resistance when you try to rest or get still. This is part of that societal programming. You have to do to be worthy. You have to fix yourself to be lovable. So what happens when you try to sit down and rest, it might actually feel really crappy when you first try to rest. What I've recently heard someone else talking about is that what's actually happening is that you are detoxifying from the messages of doing in today's world. You're detoxifying from the patriarchal messages of productivity, right? Rest is the opposite. So when you are feeling the discomfort of resting, it is actually a radical act of rebellion against this programmed belief in society that we have to be a certain way, that we have to produce to be worthy. Listen, I want you to understand this is big. This is big. This is bigger than just like, I'm going to go take a nap. Okay? This is big because we are taught from a very, very early age that resting is bad or wrong, right? And I talked about that in last week's episode, that there's something, right? There's something wrong with us. There's something, we're lazy if we rest, right? That's the messaging that comes up. When you understand that you're going to bump up against this messaging, right? This programming that we've had, that it's going to feel uncomfortable. It might even feel bad. It might even feel like every cell of your body is on fire because you are going against this programming, right? This is what happens to me. I sit down and it's almost like I am being yelled at that I have to move and do something. When you know that you actually are going to feel that's what's going to come up. When you feel that discomfort, it is actually a sign that you are in the right place because you're detoxing. You can tell yourself that it is working. It must be working because I feel like crap that this is working. I am detoxing when I try to sit still and my entire being feels like it's going to die because I am sitting still. This is what I've been experiencing. It is so, and it's really interesting, right? Once I heard that, then I was like, oh, the resistance that is arising to sitting down and resting, to finding stillness, that when I finally sit and I'm like, you know what? It's just 1 minute. I'm just going to take 1 minute, even though I know I'm going to get yelled at. What happened was, and when I say yelled at, I mean that little critical voice in my head, right? It's like, you have to move. You have to move. But when I sit down and I say, you know what? I'm committed. Even if it's 1 minute. Every time I sit and touch into that stillness, like I talked about last week, of asking, how can I find stillness even in this? Then, almost immediately, intuition drops in. I used to fall asleep almost immediately when I sat down to rest because my body was screaming for that first level, right, of actually sleeping. So I don't fall asleep anymore now. I'm getting messages. I get clarity, right? The messages from the guides are coming so quickly because I have been working on my nervous system and detoxifying from the constant doing, leaving spaces. Not only, and it's not even just like I have to sit around and do nothing. It's like, well, what would feel amazing? What do I want to do? Do I want to just read 1 page of this book? Maybe I just want to light a candle that smells amazing, right? I'm detoxifying from the old ways of being. Old meaning it's still happening. It's all around the academic ways of what I'm supposed to, again, in quotes, what I'm supposed to be doing. So at first, yes, it felt miserable. I didn't know it was going to feel miserable, and so I thought there was something wrong. I didn't know I was going to feel miserable when I tried to rest. And now that I know that nothing has gone wrong, and I've started to experience those moments of like, oh, that's what happens when I sit in stillness. I love that little drop-in connections where I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen with a place to rest, like this new community that I'm building. I've just been kind of like, I don't know, but I'm not going to figure it out. My brain isn't going to figure it out. I'm going to sit in stillness and listen. Whoop, drops in, right? So it can be quite transformational, right? I didn't know. Now I know. Now I'm noticing and reminding myself how much better I feel when I practice rest, when I practice stillness, and then it starts to feel amazing. So here's the thing about resting in stillness. Here's the other kind of little symptom, side effect. I guess it's like a positive side effect, right? it leads to all sorts of possibilities of joy. All sorts of possibilities of joy. It creates this opportunity to actually sit with the parts of myself, right? That originally, as we talked about in the very beginning, felt unacceptable, right? That's what I was told. I was told those parts of me are unacceptable and I should squish and hold and change them. And now I can start to see like, oh, here I am sitting in stillness. What's coming up? Fear. Okay. How can I sit with fear? Even just for that one moment, right? That's part of that stillness. And I can start to accept it, right? Like, do I love fear yet? No, not yet. But I can accept it. I can hold it in compassionate awareness, right? I can be with it. And when I can sit with them just first in that observation, right? Oh, here's fear. Oh, here's anger, right? Oh, here's a little part of me that really was traumatized as a young person. Then I can start to accept, right? Observation. Then I can start to accept, yes, this is here. And then what happens is this amazing loving compassion, right? That beautiful movement to loving compassion. So this is why stillness can be so life-changing, right? You're detoxifying from the doing, and it opens up these possibilities to acceptance and love. When you rest in compassion, you can bring loving compassion to all the parts of you, and this creates a whole different level of stillness that shifts the restlessness and the resistance that I referred to at the beginning. Okay, dear ones. I'd love for you to watch and notice, right? Again, in loving compassion, to see where this restlessness arises for you. Maybe even see if it feels right to commit to rest, even if it feels uncomfortable. And remember, committing to rest could be 1 minute a day, right? And again, I would love to invite you to join me in a rest session. We're going to have a rest session on April 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And I would like to invite you even a step further into a place to rest, a community for embodied stillness. This is like a monthly membership, and it gives you all of the support that you need. All right, friends. I'm so glad that you are here along with me on this journey. So grateful for you. And I hope you are able to rest well. Take good care of yourself. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Whole Body Upgrade. If you'd like to learn more about working with me, you can visit me on Facebook or Instagram or on my website, Centered You, that's centeredyou.com. See you on the next episode of Whole Body Upgrade.